On a sleepy Tuesday afternoon, in the little village of Mallowbrook, Charlie was lying on the grassy hill behind his house, watching the sky. It was the kind of day where clouds looked like castles, dragons, and ships drifting across a sea of blue. But today, something strange was happening. The clouds weren't white, they were brown. Not stormy gray, not dusty brown, no. These clouds gleamed like melted chocolate under the sun. Thick, swirly, cocoa-colored clouds floated lazily above the rooftops, as if someone had spilled hot fudge across the sky. And every so often, the wind would carry down the sweetest smell Charlie had ever known, warm, rich, and comforting, like freshly baked brownies. Charlie's eyes went wide. "That's impossible," he whispered. But curiosity didn't care much for what was possible. So, grabbing his little red scooter, Charlie sped down to the village square. The townsfolk were already gathered, necks craned, noses twitching. Old Mrs. Quoter, Petal from the bakery, was sniffing the air like a cat. Mr. Hobbins, the grumpy postman, was sticking out his tongue, hoping for a taste. Even the mayor was there, pacing around with a puzzled expression. "What in the wide world of wonders is going on?" Charlie asked a group of kids from his school. "They say the clouds came in from the north," piped up Elsie, who was chewing her braid nervously. "And some people saw drops falling from them, drops of chocolate." Before Charlie could react, a tiny splat hit his shoulder. He glanced down and gasped. A shiny bead of chocolate was slowly sliding down his shirt. Without thinking, he scooped it up with his finger and licked it. It was real. It was perfect. "Where's it coming from?" Charlie asked. Rumors flew through the crowd like startled birds, giant cocoa machines, magic spells, sky-baking dragons. But one old man leaned toward Charlie and said in a whisper, "If you really want to know, boy, you've got to follow the clouds north, up into the misty hills." And just like that, Charlie knew he had to go. The next morning, he packed a small bag, just the essentials. A water bottle, a cheese sandwich, a notebook, and a jar to collect chocolate drops. The clouds were still there, drifting steadily north. He followed them out of the village, through meadows and streams, past farms and windmills, until the ground began to rise beneath his feet. The misty hills were a strange place. People said they were home to secrets and stories, the kind that hid themselves from most eyes. As Charlie climbed, the air grew sweeter, almost dizzyingly so. The clouds were lower now, close enough that he could see thick swirls and bubbles inside them, as though they were boiling from within. Finally, he reached the top of a ridge and froze. In the valley below stood a giant machine, unlike anything he'd ever seen. It was made of golden pipes, spinning wheels, and glass domes filled with swirling liquid. From tall chimneys at the top poured the chocolate-colored clouds, puffing into the sky like delicious smoke. Around the base of the machine were dozens of tiny figures, no taller than Charlie's knee, wearing cocoa-brown hats and aprons, stirring vats and cranking levers. "Hello," Charlie called, stepping forward. The little workers all stopped at once. A small figure with twinkling eyes and a hat shaped like a whipped cream swirl waddled over. "You're not supposed to be here," the figure said in a voice like tinkling spoons. "This is the Cloud Confectionery. We make chocolate clouds for the sky festivals of the north." Charlie's jaw dropped. "You make the clouds?" "Why?" The little worker smiled. "Because people forget to look up. We send special clouds to remind them that the world can still surprise you." "But why are they over my village?" Charlie asked. The worker tilted their head. "Something went wrong with the wind. Our clouds drifted too far south. The people here weren't supposed to see them yet." Charlie felt a little spark of mischief. "Well, now they have, and they love them." The worker frowned. "We can't leave them here. Too much chocolate in the air, and your village will never want plain clouds again. We must bring them back." Charlie thought hard. "What if, just for one day, you let the village have a proper taste? Not just drops from the sky, a real chocolate cloud festival." The little worker tapped their chin, then whispered to the others, They chattered in a flurry of cocoa-scented excitement, and finally, the whipped cream hat worker turned back. "One day, but you must help us." That night, under Charlie's instructions, the cloud confectionery floated low over Mallowbrook. The villagers gathered with bowls, spoons, and mugs, laughing like children. Chocolate rain fell in soft splashes, coating biscuits and filling teacups. The little workers brought chocolate-shaped balloons, cocoa fountains, and whipped cream clouds for sitting. Even Mr. Hobbins smiled as chocolate drops splattered his mailbag. It was the happiest the village had been in years. As the festival wound down, Charlie found himself back on the hill, watching the brown clouds drift away into the distance. The little worker waved from the top of the golden machine. "Thank you, Charlie. You reminded your people to look up," Charlie waved back. "And you reminded me the world is bigger and sweeter than I thought." The chocolate clouds disappeared over the horizon, leaving the night sky clear and starry. The village smelled faintly of cocoa for weeks afterward, and sometimes, on quiet evenings, Charlie swore he could see a tiny brown cloud far away, as if the cloud confectionery was saying hello. And from that day on, whenever Charlie looked at the sky, he didn't just see clouds, he saw the possibility that something magical might be drifting his way.